Hi Brain Chase adventurers, this week's challenge is homemade pasta. Just a few ingredients, a little bit of elbow grease, and you have a magnificent dinner. This is so much fun, but I am going to ask you to be a little patient because we're going to be kneading out that dough for quite a little bit of time. Let's begin with a cup and a half of flour, a little bit of salt, warm water, not hot water, egg, which is room temperature, and that's very important. Don't just take that egg right out of the refrigerator. It has to be room temperature, and a little bit of olive oil. We're going to just dump our flour right on the countertop, and I want a mountain. In the mountain, you're going to make a little hole, our volcano. In our volcano, we're going to put our cracked egg, and we're just going to whisk up our egg and slowly add it to the volcano. Then a pinch of salt, and we're going to start working this in. The best way to do it is just with 2 fingers and 1 hand. Slowly start to work this in, mix it up. Whoa, we don't want it coming out of the volcano. When you have a bit more, it is a little easier. I don't think your volcano will cave as quickly. After this is mixed up, I like to add a little bit of warm water, just about 1 tablespoon at a time. And you see how gentle my hands are. You want to handle it very delicately. We're going to add a little bit more water, and don't freak out about your hands. I'll show you how to get those clean in a minute. This is perfect. Now, remember how I said don't freak about your hands? Just rub your hands together and the pasta will all come off. What we would like is to use this part, the ball of our hand, to now make our dough into a nice smooth ball. My pasta is really yellow because we have very fresh eggs from my chickens. It will vary in color. Don't worry about it if it's not this yellow. Now we can start to push a little harder. Do you see how it's starting to spring back up on us? That means our gluten is getting ready. All right. Some people like to work with their dough a little bit more and get a little bit more stable, but I think for kids, this is a perfect amount of elasticity. You want it kind of springy, and that'll make it easy for you to roll into shapes. So my dough is just a little dry, and I forgot to add a little bit of olive oil. So we want just about 1 tablespoon of olive oil in here, and I'll still be able to add it in. Perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh flour, and we'll roll this out. The key to doing this is to have your hands floury, your dough floury, and your rolling pin floury. If you don't have a rolling pin at home, you could use a big jar, a mayonnaise jar, or maybe a peanut butter jar. That would also work. There we go. This is perfect. The thinner I can get it, the lighter the pasta is and the less cooking time it has, but just do your best job. Pasta comes in over 450 kinds of shapes, and these are some of the tools that you could use to use them. This is just a little crimping cutter. So I can make a noodle here, or this is a ravioli cutter. I'll make your circles for you. So at home, I'm just going to use a regular knife, and we're going to cut some nice pasta noodles. You could use these noodles for pasta, or how about some chicken noodle soup? Now, in Italy, what you want to do, or anywhere really, is you want to dry your pasta noodles out. Oat can dry for overnight, a day, or 5 minutes. The more you dry them, the longer it will take to cook. While we're drying it here, if you were in Italy, you'd have a pasta rack. This is a drying rack that they use to make tons and tons of noodles. All right, now we're going to boil our water, and I'm going to tell you, some people say salt the water, some people say don't salt the water. I'm not going to salt the water because I don't want the extra sodium, but you do what your grandmother tells you to do. All right, let's get ready to cook. Remember, open your lid this way so the steam will go out that way. A steam burn is a painful burn. Let's drop our noodles in. See that rapid boil? That's perfect. The more noodles you put in, the slower your water will be boiling. While this is boiling for 2 minutes, let's just chop up some tomatoes and a little bit of fresh basil. All right, and to cut our basil, we're just gonna stack our basil leaves on top of each other, and we're going to cut into tiny little strips. Let's check on our noodles. And you see how the pasta is floating on the top? That really took like a minute. Again, pour away from you when you're draining into your colander, and we are ready to plate. Oh, we're gonna toss this really beautiful hot pasta with our fresh tomatoes and our basil. Beautiful. But before you eat it, take a picture, upload it to Instagram or your cooking page, and the chefs from Brain Chase will give you feedback. Enjoy.